Evening, guys. For those of you using Dynamics Accountancy, I just want to go over a couple of features, particularly on the customer side. So, how to see the balance of a customer, how to look at the ledger entries, and how to apply some payments. So, if you, from the home page, click on Customers on the left-hand side, depending on what columns, you may need to enable some columns. To enable the columns, you right-click, choose columns, then you add the columns that you want to appear on this customer list. But the ones that I have enabled are payment terms, credit limit, balance, balance due, and total revenue from the customer. So what we can see here is that there's 28 days payment terms for this customer. The credit limit's 1,000. It currently owes £542 and there's a turnover of 811. So if I want to look at all of the outstanding transactions that make up this balance, if I click here, it will take me through to what's known as the ledger entries, but only the open ones that are due. If I want to look at the entire ledger for that customer, if I simply go to the top, navigate, and then go to ledger entries, this will show me all the transactions that customer has made, due or not, or if they've been paid off, or they're known as closed in Dynamics. So if an invoice is fully paid, it'll be marked as closed, and if a payment's been fully applied, likewise, it'll be marked as closed. So if we want to take a payment, let's say account customers come in and they've paid their bill on card. I guess most account payments will be done via bank transfer, but the ones that are done cash and card, this is one of the methods that we can use. Before you do this, I strongly advise that you speak to your accountant and make sure that they're happy with this process. It's ultimately those guys that have got to pick up the slack if you guys do anything wrong or anything that they don't expect. So before you do this, just please speak to your accountant. So from customers on the left hand side, we have this button up here called Cash Receipt Journal. Now your system should be set up to take the types of payment that you normally take. I think by default we get bank transfer, card, cash, and check. So it should really mimic the types of payments that you can take on a document on a job sheet. So in this instance, we'll say that it's just going to be a cash receipt. So this customer's come in and paid cash for his account over the counter. So we select cash receipt. You have to set, first of all, you have to set the date the payment was taken, really important. So we'll use today's date as an example. Then we have to select document type, which is a payment. The document number should auto number, so you shouldn't need to worry about this. The account type is a customer. Now, the reason this is more complex than this is because you can take cash receipts for all sorts, but in this case, it's just going to be a payment to a customer's account. So you select account type customer. You then find the account customer. So in this case, I know it's this one. And from here, there's a couple of ways. If you're paying off a single bill, I recommend that you click in this box here, applies to document number. And then you simply select the document that you want to apply the payment to. This will automatically set the limit. Now, because this is accountancy, you are actually crediting the customer with a payment, which is why it's a negative value. Now, providing you select document type payment, if you were to try and make this transaction with a positive value, it wouldn't let you anyway. It would warn you that it needs to be negative. So what you're essentially telling the system is that you're removing this debtor's debt, essentially, with a credit. So when you get to this point, you can very simply just press post at the top. Do you want to post the journal lines? Yes. The journal lines are successfully posted. So let's go and have a look at what this has done. So if we look back at the customers, you can see that balance has now been reduced to 0. If we click these ledger entries, you can see there's nothing in here. If we look at the full ledger entries, so back to navigate ledger entries, we can see that the payment has been applied. So the other way is, let's say a customer is paying a lump of money and he's not necessarily paying off any particular bills. You just want to apply a payment to that customer's account. Again, we can go through cash receipt journals. And let's say in this case, he's made a card payment. Again, document type payment. Find the customer. and we're going to say that he's just made a payment of £1,000 on account. We're not actually going to apply it to any document, so I'm just showing you this as an example. So if we say minus 1,000 against this customer and we post this transaction and have a look what that's done, that's actually put his account negative 1,000, as though we owe him 1,000 now because he's made a payment to account of £1,000. So normally the reasons why you would do this method is if the customer has made, say the customer owes you a few £1,000s, but he's just making a random payment just to try and knock his account down, but it doesn't particularly apply to any single document, you can apply the payment to their account using that method. And then at a later date, through the ledger entries, you can tie the payments and invoices together. But this is a video just about taking cash, what's known as cash receipt journals. So I hope that made sense. Just to go over it again, from the homepage, customers, cash receipt journal, select the payment method, set the date, document type payment, account type customer, find the customer, and then simply select this button on the right hand side, applies to document number. If you have any questions, please let me know.